Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. My name is Kelvin and welcome to Real Daddy Talking. In this channel, we mostly discuss about parenting and fatherhood. And in this video, I want to talk to you about what to expect if you're expecting a second child. So if that's you, I want to say congratulations to you. It must be super exciting news for you. And I remember not too long ago when my wife and myself, we know of our second child, we were both excited, over the moon, and we were anxious at the same time. So on one hand, we were happy that our family nucleus is growing. We were happy that our only son back then would have a new sibling, which means he has to learn to share his toys. He would have to learn to develop some kind of social skills because you realize that now you're suddenly not the center of attention. And on the other hand, we were a bit apprehensive as well, a little bit of anxiety because this obviously means increased expenses, and it also presents logistical challenges. Like, for instance, if both parents are working, what are the arrangements to send those kids to be taken care of, whether through infant care or through, grandparents or domestic helper. But that's a topic for another video. Anyway, in this video, I just want to share some of the things that I've learned through my experience, and hopefully they could be beneficial to you. All right, so the first thing that I kind of overlooked was that I was a little complacent. So I do not know about you, but when I had my first child, I was very involved during the initial days and weeks. So I don't know about whether you remember, bringing this little infant from the hospital all the way to home, and then showing them to your parents and your grandparents and your aunties and uncles. And then, all of a sudden there's this realization wow, what am I supposed to do with this little one here? It's like a new human being in our life, right? I mean, in the hospital, it's all nice and dandy until you reach home with another human being. If you can recall, there's a lot of work to be done. You have to feed, bathe, clear its poop and pee, and nurse it and give him or her milk every 2 to 3 hours. So if you had gone through those stages, those would have been very intimate to you, because it was I must say that it is definitely painful at the start to be waking up every 2 to 3 hours and not having sleep for a good month or two. But on hindsight, after months, after a couple of years, when you look back, you realize that those are pretty nice memories to have. So if you are so attached to those sentiments, you might think that, hey, when my second child comes along, it's going to be a rehash of the same scenario. While this is true, bear in mind that every kid is quite different. So no two children are the same, and therefore your next child is very likely to have different feeding habits, eating habits, sleeping habits as well. And therefore, what we need to do is to be more agile, basically to be more adaptable, and to basically adapt to changes. All right. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is arrangements and logistics. So now that you know that you have your second child, I think it's time also to think about who's going to take care of your child after the paternity and the maternity leave has passed. So for women in Singapore, they have I think 4 months of maternity leave, and for men we have about 4 weeks, which is a month. So what's going to happen after that 4 weeks? What's going to happen after that 4 months? All right. So are you going to consider putting your child in an infant care, or leaving it to your parents, or hiring a domestic helper? That's something to think about. All of these options have its own pros and cons, and it's something to think about on the onset, as early as possible. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is jealousy. So, there's always this myth that when you bring back, not really a myth, but I think this is somewhat true. When you bring back a new child, the first child will feel kind of left out. They'll feel that, hey, suddenly I'm no longer the center of attraction, center of attention. So you have to deal with that, because there are stories that I've heard where, when the parents are away, the elder child will try to hurt the younger child, because they feel that the younger child has robbed away all the love from mommy and papa. Right? So one of the trick that I did was that I knew that my first son, he loves to eat bananas. All right. So what we did was that when we brought our baby back, okay, the second his sibling back, we offered a banana to our first child, the elder son, and we said, hey, this is a gift from little brother. So of course he was extremely excited, banana, something that he loves, right? So that could be something for you to think about as well, maybe to give some kind of gift and say that, hey, that's from the little brother. I know it's not completely true, but if it helps to set the tone and make things more amicable, I think that's a win-win. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is time management. So if you already have had your first child, you would have known how crazy it is to manage your first child, especially once he hits 2 years old and beyond, because they will start to walk, they will start to explore things around the house, opening the cabinets and touching electrical switches and things like that. You definitely know it. So when you have your second child coming in, you have to do the first part, which is to make sure that your first child is alive, and also making sure that you nurse and you cater to the needs of your youngest child as well. So what that means is that time management becomes extremely important, because most of your time you are spending trying to make sure that your kids are well, making sure that they are eating correctly, making sure that when they eat and the floor gets messy, you are there to fix it. You're not going to have really a lot of time, a lot of personal time for yourself, okay? And what that means is that you have to be really strategic in how you organize your tasks, which means tasks that are you have to give more priority to tasks that are more important. And this means that you need to have a clear understanding of how critical those tasks are. All right, so I'm not sure about you, but for myself, the only time where I can get to do my own personal stuff is when everyone is sleeping, right? So you have to wait till both kids are sleeping, probably your wife is sleeping as well, and then you find time to just relax for a little bit until the crying starts again. All right, so the other point that I want to talk about is to be adaptable. Yeah, because having another person at home at the start, it's all about discovering about them. It's all about learning what their habits are, their feeding habits, their eating habits, their pooping habits. So learn to be adaptable and learn to be agile, basically to be ready to change whenever it's needed. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about is that while in the progress of taking care of children, it actually exposes a lot about yourself to yourself, in a sense whereby you learn a lot about yourself when you take care of kids. Like for myself, I realized I didn't know I was so quick-tempered. And then when these things present, when all these qualities present itself to you, probably this is a good time to reflect and make some changes to improve ourselves. So be kind to yourself and also be kind to your partner, because it's gonna be a bit of chaos. It's going to be a bit of a mess at the start, but over time it will definitely get better. And after months and after a couple of years, when you look back, you realize that those memories are really, really precious. All right, guys, I hope that you benefited to the things that I've shared in this video. If you like this video, remember to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you have some tips or suggestions that you would like to share with the community, I invite you to also leave them down in the comment section so that other parents who are on this page can also learn from your sharing and we can all learn together. And if you have other topics that you would like me to cover in future videos, I also invite you to leave them down in the comment section. All right, that's all I have for you guys. I'll see you soon. Cheers.